Thirsty? And now that you muted yourself, are you recording?
Yeah, recording just worked. I logged out and logged back, so we're good.
Okay. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about our one thing. So let me go back just a couple of years here at Coach Summit. 2013, John Maxwell was speaking, and he was talking about a new book that he had just written. And so it was, I think it's the 21 Laws of Growth. And he said everybody has one thing that they do better than anything else. Now, if you phrase it like that, I mean, clearly everybody has one thing they do better than anything else that they do. Even if they're bad at everything, there's one thing that they do better. But he took it a step further than that. And he said, he tried to compare it on a scale of 1 to 10. He said, if 5 is average and 10 is exceptional, he says nobody ever really gets to 10. I mean, you might if you work your whole lifetime, but a lot of people have gifts and they might be a 6 or a 7 at something. And then if you work really hard at that gift, you can make it an 8 or a 9. And if you're able to take a gift that you have and make it an 8 or a 9, then you have the ability to use that and to really find a way to have an influence over other people. So the first thing he says is, okay, so you need to take a look in the mirror and try and figure out what's your one thing. What are you good at? And it's interesting that as he talked about that one good thing, he said, you may have to ask other people to help you, your friends, your family, people around you, your community, to kind of get to your one thing. And it took me quite a while. I walked away from that baffled as to what my one thing was. And it took me probably months before I really kind of honed in on it. And even now, I could use some clarity on it. But I'll tell you what, in my opinion, is my one thing. And that is I'm drawn to, attracted to, and am good at doing physical things. It's how my sports career was. I was never the most talented guy on the field, but I was a guy that had a lot of heart and drive and like no quit. And so it's interesting to take that and apply that to my business. So just from there, I'll leave that alone for right now. And then, some other things that people might be really good at is somebody might be really artistic. They might be able to put together amazing visuals and be able to communicate through their creative side. Somebody else might be amazingly structured and organized. And see, all of these things are qualities that are great to lead a team, to be a leader, to help other people, because having somebody that's organized really helps everybody to focus in. Having somebody that's passionate, enthusiastic, and get it done and drive, and like me, I'm a rhino. I plow right through things, and sometimes I forget to talk about it to other people. And so that's what I need to practice, is sharing that and helping other people to go with me. But you need those cheerleaders. You need that enthusiasm, right? It's good for a team, right? So you also need good teammates. You need somebody that'll stick with you, that you can trust, that always has your back. So I'm just throwing out ideas so that you can kind of think about your one thing. Maybe you all know, but I'm going to take a minute I'm going to keep talking about it, but in a few minutes, I'm going to ask you about what you think your one thing is. So, I hope your wheels are spinning. So I want to go back to John Maxwell for a minute. In this talk that he gave to us at Summit, he said, okay, so here is some mistakes that some people make. They might be a 2 or a 3 or maybe even a 4 at something. And they try and develop it and make it into something great. And you can only move it so far, 2 points, 3 points maybe. And so if you're a 3 and you move it 2 points, you've now become average. You're never going to get anywhere with that. So your one thing has to be something that you're really good at. And everybody has gifts. So I fully believe that. And I think my own personal feeling is I think we were sent here to the earth by our Heavenly Father, who has given every single person on this earth gifts. Everybody has at least one. Some people are cursed with more than one. And I say that because it's a rare thing. There are some people that are amazing at a whole bunch of different things, but then they got to figure out which one. And that's hard, right? So you find that one thing, and then you do that one thing until you're just great at that one thing. John Maxwell talks about somebody that goes out into the forest with an axe, and there's trees everywhere, all around you, right? And they take their axe and they hack at this tree. Then they stop. They go to the next tree and hack at the next tree. Then they stop and they go to the next tree and they hack at that tree. And they go through the whole forest hacking at trees. They'll never knock down a single tree that way. His point is you got to find the one thing and stay in that. So I've heard people say the phrase, stand in your strength. Anybody else ever heard of that? And, or stand in your power or whatever. And sometimes I don't have a clue what they're talking about when they say that. But I think as I really start to process this, that's what they're talking about. Find your one thing and get really good at it. And, in our businesses, that's what we need to develop is our one thing and get really, really good at it. So before we just kind of go around and share, let me read something to you. And this is from another John Maxwell book. I'm not seeing myself in the picture here. Am I showing up there? Everybody can see me okay?
I see you.
All right. I got me now. Okay. So here, Intentional Living by John Maxwell. He's the same guy. He's the speaker at Summit that I was talking about. And I read his other book. Well, now I'm in a mastermind group and we're studying this intentional living. And he brings up the same topic. So bear with me for a minute. I don't want to bore you, but I want you to kind of get the point of what he's talking about here. He says, start with your one thing. I believe everybody has one thing they do better than anything else. The right place to start is with your one thing. I learned this from my dad. In fact, it was a Maxwell House rule. When I was growing up, when we were kids, my dad's message to my brother, sister, and me was to find your strength, your one thing, and stay with it. He never encouraged us to try to do lots of different things. He wanted each of us to do one thing exceptionally well. A long-running joke in our family was that we felt sorry for multi-gifted people. How would they know which of their gifts to focus on? In my eyes, my father became an exceptional man, not because he was exceptionally gifted, but because he found his one thing and he stuck with it. He was a great encourager. That's an interesting gift, to be an encourager. As a result, he rose to way above average. He mastered the art of encouraging others and never departed from it. Excellence comes from consistency in using your strengths. And Dad has been consistent. Henry David Thoreau wrote, "One is not born into the world to do everything, but to do something." I found my something in Hillham Communication. That's a church that John Maxwell was the pastor over. That was what I focused on. I poured myself into it. I spent hours crafting my messages. I went to see good communicators every chance I got. I was determined to become the best I could. So communication is John Maxwell's thing. I look back now and realize that back then my messages were very informational, but they weren't transformational. I wanted to facilitate transformation in others, but I was falling short. I didn't realize that I needed to change first. Viktor Frankl was right when he said, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." I'll talk about the change in the next chapter. All right, so just a little bit further here. When I got started doing my one thing, I had no idea it would lead me to where I am today. Besides, even if I'd wanted to start big, I wasn't sophisticated enough to, so I just started with what I had and did it as well as I could. As a result, my ability multiplied. That came from working at it with consistency. I am where I am today, not because I have done several big things, but because I have worked at communicating ever since my 20s. And this intentionality has compounded in my life. All right, 2 thoughts here. Investing in yourself is like taking a penny and doubling the value every day. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but this is really interesting. If you did that for a month, how much would you end up with? $100? $1,000? $1 million? Not even close. If you start with just a single penny and double it every day for 31 days, you end up with $21,474,836.48. Personal growth is like that. Practice your one thing with excellence daily. You will get a return. It's like putting money into the significance bank. What's your one thing? What do you have the potential to do better than anything else? Do you have a sense of what that is? If not, then ask people who know you well, or look at your history, or take a personality or skill assessment to get clues. Don't think about what you can't do. Think about what you can. There is always a starting line. You just need to find it. It's about beginning with what you have, not with what you don't have. Find your one thing and start developing it. All right, so why don't y'all unmute yourselves, or at least start with Kirsty. Kirsty, why don't you share with us what your one thing is, and hopefully that'll help everybody else to kind of think a little bit about what kind of characteristics can be developed.
Okay, so we were chatting about this a little bit over the weekend. I probably missed a little bit of extra stuff, but I was thinking that my strength was like delivering a message, telling a story, and that kind of thing. But then my dad was like, no, I think it's more connecting to people. So I think I'm somewhere in between there, but I feel like if we're talking about the one thing that you should do more often, I think for me, like the Facebook videos is a great way for me to deliver a message and connect with people. And so I don't know if getting everything that you wanted to cover, but
no, that's perfect. And in fact, I thought quite a bit after we talked over the weekend. And this is what I think. I think I was a little bit misguided when I said that your thing is connecting with people, because I think we can use our one thing, whatever it is, and connect with people through our one thing.
Way. Yeah.
So maybe your communication skills is your way of connecting with people. That makes sense?
I like that. Yeah.
So as everybody else in the group starts to think about their one thing, see, if somebody's really an artist and really creative, I mean, you can connect with people through a picture, a painting, a photograph, a graphic that you make online. I mean, you can communicate through that. And that the connecting isn't the skill, the art and the ability to express yourself in that art is the skill, is the one thing. And then from there, you're able to connect.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, Jeff, are you ready? Because we've talked before. We practiced this.
Oh, did we?
We have, but I want you to say what you're thinking. And if you still, if you're struggling with it or whatever, I'll come back to you in a few minutes. But let's spend a minute on it. Talk about it.
Okay, so what is my strength? That is a great question. I'm a well-rounded guy. I'm not really ever a 10 or an 8, but I've got a lot of 6s.
Nobody's a 10, Jeff.
So, well, again, like, if I was a pro, I'd be a millionaire by now. But I think a lot of the times I try to find something to do, like something exciting, something fun, like all the time. I'm always looking for something else, which obviously I need to watch out for hacking up the forest and not knocking down any trees. But anything I do decide to do, this isn't always the case right now, but I always bring somebody with me. Like, I don't really do any things alone anymore. If I go frisbee golfing, I'm not going to go by myself. I love it, but I'll never go by myself. I did it at college in between classes, and that's understandable because I was already pretty close. But I'm going to find somebody to go with me. If I'm going to work out, boom, I found Tom. Look at that. I work out with somebody. Rarely do I do things by myself, and I need to be able to focus on this skill, one of these skills, and invite more than one person, especially to these challenges. And every time we have challenges, hey, I didn't get anybody. I didn't ask anybody sometime. I don't know. I don't know why, but I'm good at it. I can do it. I'm really good at face-to-face. I'm good at committing people. Is that how you feel? That's how a lot of people feel. I'm sure you felt the same way. And then you nod, yes, the body language, and they're like, yes, you totally know what I'm talking about. I'm in. And I just need to do it more. And it's the feel, felt, found. Learned it on my mission. But I'm always bringing somebody with me. If I'm going to go biking, I'm going to like, hey, who wants to go biking? And usually I don't do it when I don't find anybody. So that's kind of one of my pitfalls. If I'm going to clean the house, I want to clean it with somebody. I don't want to do it by myself.
Thank you. Right.
And I get where some people are coming from when they want me to join them.
So
that would be my skill, I think, is inviting people to do things with me. And hopefully I have enough to do a lot of fun things and, to exercise and to have, eating goals, obviously, as a Beachbody coach and getting results and feeling healthy. I need to be able to expand my one-on-one. Hey, I bring one person with me. I need to do it more. And that's what I can focus on with my current skill. What do you think?
yeah, I think you're right on track. You know how I said I'm a rhino?
But I don't use it to my potential.
Well, I mean, we'll talk about that too. I got a couple of ideas for you. You know how I said I'm a rhino? I just plow through things. I don't necessarily take anybody with me or talk about it. I just plow through it. That might be fine for me, but it doesn't help change the world, right? So, I have to work on communicating and bringing people with me. Well, you're a Labrador Retriever. Have you ever seen a Labrador Retriever that was really happy all by itself?
Mm-mm.
Labrador Retrievers are a lot happier when they're with somebody else. They're playing, having fun, and doing stuff together. They can entertain themselves for a little while, but long haul, they got to take somebody else. Now, I do believe that you're on track on what your strength is. And so here's the thing. I mean, you have to practice that. And it takes time to develop that and to take something that's a 6, turn it into an 8. People are noticing you.
It takes goals. It takes some goals. I mean, I need to have a goal. I need to talk to 2 people a day. If I don't have a goal, I ain't going to do it.
Well, here's the thing. It's like when we hear no, we get discouraged. And then you get this fear and expectation that you're just going to hear no. And that's one of the things that holds us back. And when you get to a point where you're almost looking for a no, and you can be like, you can ask somebody and nothing is at stake. It's like, if you do, great. If you don't, fine. Because I'm moving on and I'm going to get the next guy. But, it has to be done in a way where you can deal with a volume of people. And so the one, obviously there's people that we enjoy being around more than others. That said, you have to develop your skill to where you're at a point where you're ready to be around anyone and everyone and invite them all. Come with me, because you're the party man.
Mm-hmm.
Bring them to the party with you, all of them. When you get there, your business is going to blow up.
Yeah, I just started a fitness page. I'm normally the face-to-face kind of guy, but I'm expanding, and it's called My Journey to 200, and I want to bring people with me because I'm not there yet. So we'll see how many people I can invite here in the next month and really bring people with me. So
awesome.
I think too, Jeff, if I can add something, I think you're also really good at helping people feel important and special. And I think that that's really important as a coach, to be able to help other people see the value in themselves. And, a lot of times we see it in them before they even see it or realize their potential. But Jeff, I think you're also really good at, especially one-on-one and with small groups, making people feel really important and special, and, not just come work out with me because it's fun, but because you deserve it, and, and we'll improve together and all that. I just think that's another one of your strengths as well. Did you seriously just message me I need more water? Oh my gosh. Did you drink that all on the counter?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Just having fun.
I need water now. Where's my water?
That's like the Labrador Retriever that drops a tennis ball and wants you to throw it for him.
Yeah, I know, right? But have you ever seen a lab? Oh, no, you already said that. That's not happy. I mean, that's not happy. But a lab makes you feel special. Like, if you're the lab's owner, it's like, oh, I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy. We just saw pets, so I'm, imagining But, it's a fun personality to have.
Moving on.
All right, Sarah. You tell me your one thing.
I think I'm really good about making friends. I have no problem talking to strangers, anywhere. I can talk to a mom in line at the grocery store, at the park, or wherever. I have no problem doing that. But I can't get people to commit, and that's what I need to work on. Jeff, I have no problem inviting and inviting and inviting. I can invite all day long, but I can't get people to commit. I feel like that's my strength.
Well, I think that's a pretty powerful strength, because a lot of people are afraid to, get out of their comfort zone, and that's in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Go out and, invite anybody and everybody and talk to everyone and everyone's your friend. And I think that's great. The commitment part from other people, a lot of that, what I'm learning is that a lot of the great coaches have a script and they follow their script. And so fine tune it.
Okay.
Go out and find coaches that have a script. I can give you some from the men's training that we went to. We were given a playbook, and they had about 20 different successful coaches share what they do to be successful. And in there are some really good scripts. And also from my mastermind group, Josh Coates, he talks about scripts. And so I will see if I can get hold of some more. But when you start conversations with people, you can steer them right into what you're doing to help people.
Okay.
And
that'd be awesome.
yeah. It's also helpful to learn how to speak other people's language. And I think that's a hard thing for me. Is that I can't read people very well. It takes me forever to figure out what makes somebody tick. Mm-hmm. So learning how to speak their language is a challenge for me. But, maybe it's not a challenge for you. And so if you can speak their language, then you have a script and you walk them right to where you want them to go. But it takes practice. Practice. Yeah.
But I think that enthusiasm and that excitement that you naturally have, Sarah, that for sure is a major strength of yours. And having confidence going into every conversation, like that's really key. So it's important to know the strengths and then know the weaknesses too, to kind of help kind of blend those together. Do you see Dad pointing at you to go to bed?
All right, Molly. What's your one thing?
I don't know. I've been sitting here stressed out trying to think of it. I don't know.
Let it marinate for you a little bit longer, but
yeah, I need to marinate.
You want to go on to Christine and come back and we'll talk about it together?
Yeah, we'll see what we come up with.
All right, Christine.
I think I'm a good motivator. So once people get going, it's easy for me to push them and encourage them. And when they want to give up, I can, walk them through it or talk them through it. I don't know. That's what one of the people said in our challenge group.
Well, I think that's great. That's a huge skill.
Everybody needs to be motivated.
Yeah.
I'm on day 2 of super clean eating, sticking to my plan and my meals. I've probably already dropped some weight. I haven't weighed myself, but there's times I struggle in my mind. I'm on day 2, so I need some motivation.
We're doing it, Jeff. We're doing it.
So, and 21 days is just the start because I got some big goals, but it's time for me. But that's a great skill.
See, I think
people need, so.
I think that every physical transformation starts with a mental transformation.
Agreed, 100%.
Right? In some point in that process of getting fit and healthy and creating habits and lifestyles, there has to be a mindset change. There has to be a switch that flips. There has to be something inside your brain that gets so strong that you'll never stop. And when you help people to get there, a lot of that has to do with helping people find their why. And that's what motivates people. And, different people are motivated by different things. And a lot of times by asking the right questions to people, you can find out what they struggle with, what motivates them, and help them to flip that switch. So I think a big part of that is asking the right questions so that you can help people to go through that mental transformation. Because there's something, when people start, there's a reason. Like, people's why becomes so strong. When they become that strong, nothing will stop them. But the why has to be something that either makes you cry or makes you mad. One of those two. And when you get there, and you help them to see it and get it right in front of their face, they won't stop. And so many people that get started and then the voices in their head sort of take over. It's interesting that we have a conscious brain and a subconscious brain. Did anybody listen to Josh Coates when he spoke on TKO?
Mm-hmm.
He talked about how the conscious brain is logical and can steer you in the right direction and really help you to focus in. But then the subconscious starts to come into play, and it gives you doubts and fears, and it scares you right out of the thing that you're trying to accomplish. And so knowing that and helping people, motivating people to stay with their conscious brain and don't ever let the unconscious or the subconscious take over and tell people they can't do it. So really great gift and talent. Work on it, develop it, learn how to push and flip the switch on different types of people. Find what motivates them and just go get them.
How do you switch that over to Beachbody? Like, one of the family members with everything that I went through saw that I started working out. So she went and started doing that camp thing that everyone's doing, lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks or whatever. So I'm cheering her on and telling her, like, you know, if you ever need meal plans, I can help you. We have accountability groups. We have programs. I went back to work, and now 4 of the girls are starting to work out because they saw how much weight I lost. But it's not going to the Beachbody side, and I'm like, come on, let's work out together, let's try the Shakeology, or I'm not sure how to flip it over. I mean, my goal is to help them get healthy, and some of them really need it. So I'm happy that they're getting healthy because they see me, but it would be awesome to benefit at the same time.
I think it takes time.
It does. That's what I was going to say too. I think it's like the consistency of showing that you're not just doing this for 6 weeks.
Okay.
Like those other camps, that you are in it for the long run, that every day you're taking in your healthy meals, and they're going to see you do that. They're going to see you drink your shake. They're going to see your progress pictures. And so they're going to see that this is more of a lifestyle than just some camp that you're going to start and end and be done with.
Okay.
And I think continue to use your gift throughout their process. So like if they have their own plan and you've already offered for them to join your groups and they're not ready yet for that, show them that you're still going to support them and motivate them in whatever they choose to do. And then they'll see that whenever they're ready to have you as their coach, how much you're going to support them. And then also, like when you're posting about our groups and stuff, don't be afraid as one big bullet point, like next to the fact that you get your own set of DVDs and a month's supply of Shakeology, they get you as their coach, and you're going to be with them every step of the way, because that is a gift that, you know, we can give as Beachbody coaches, and not other companies do that. They don't always provide motivation. So, I mean, I think that's something really big that you can hone in on your posts too, and your invitations, is that you know what it's like and you're here to help them get through it.
Okay. That's a good point. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't push me enough.
Yeah.
What?
I don't push me enough. I don't say like, I'm going to be there with you. I'm just like, you can do this. You can change your life. Look at me.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So remember, you're the motivator.
Yeah, I am. I support them all. I'm like, you're doing the wrong thing. You're giving up too fast. And it's hard when you see that.
Yeah.
I had a friend do Weight Watchers for 6 or 7 months, and I talked to her every single month, checked in with her every single month. Last month, I got a random message. I hadn't even talked to her. Random message. Okay, Sarah, how do I start 21-day fix?
Wow.
Waiting around.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to keep reaching out to them. And I've even had, people that I've like, hey, I'll go do your stuff for a day or two. And then I like show them what's up because I push harder. I get better workouts than they do. And they're like, oh, you're on Facebook. Like, let's go, man. Come on, let's hurry up. Kind of funny. But, and then you're like, hey, if you want a real workout, come try Body Beast or Insanity Max or even Slim and Six, it'll get you working out, get you sweating.
Okay.
And doing free groups to involve all those people that are doing their own other thing too. And you can stick them all in a free group so that you can show them kind of what the daily posts work like if you want to do points. I think that really helps, especially in the beginning too. They get to kind of date you as a coach is how they say it. So they can kind of try you out without having to buy anything. And maybe just a quick 7 or 10 day free group,
Okay.
That's another idea.
I'm hesitant to get into another topic, but it sort of applies to this, so I want to touch on it just briefly. Today, I learned a new system for branding yourself as a Beachbody coach. One of the things that is a little bit dangerous about what we do is that we fall in love with the products that Beachbody has. But if we brand ourselves with just the products, we're really limiting ourselves. I'll give you an example. So my passion is to help people go from hopeless to healthy. And in order to do that, there are more steps that take place besides just exercising and drinking a shake. Although you can get great results with that, there's the mental aspect of it, which we already talked about. And if you can brand yourself with a different process for a challenge group that includes the mental side of it, which for Christine has a lot to do with motivation and helping somebody to get their head right. And then, yes, it includes clean eating, daily exercise, and then the biggest key is a community. See, if you take a flower or a pot of a plant, right, and you nourish it, you put water and give it sunlight, and you put it in an area where it's got the right environment, a little bit of shade, a little sunshine, a little of everything that it needs, it can thrive. But if you set that plant in the middle of your driveway and it gets sunlight 24/7 or like, I guess, 12 hours a day, whatever it would be, it's not going to do well. It's just not. And so building that community is part of branding yourself, taking people through the mental process as well as giving them that community. Now, it's one of the things that's sort of attractive about a boot camp is that there's this initial enthusiasm, excitement, adrenaline rush. You're all doing it together, and that's that community. But that community doesn't last. And so part of branding yourself is finding your passion, what's your niche, what are you trying to do, where's your sweet spot, and then building into that the mindset, exercise, clean eating, and community. And brand yourself so that if Beachbody ever went out of business, you would be able to run a business of transforming people with the principles that you're teaching. Lifestyle. This is forever. And I think that's one of the things that we need to do as coaches. If coaches go in and out and coach and don't coach and quit, they have conflicted with their message. It's part of the reason that I connected with Beachbody in the first place, is that they're creating this lifestyle, and I connected with that immediately. I became a coach right before Coach Summit, and I sat at that first summit in awe of what they were doing, because it hit me right here. And so because of that, I want to be that person that's there for a lifetime to teach the lifestyle. People see that over time. It's attractive. They like that.
So, yeah, I love that, Tom. Like, we definitely have to brand ourselves. I've even thought in the past, like, all these top coaches, they're not doing a quick video of a workout. They're just doing random moves to get you a workout in the next 5 minutes. They're getting you off the couch. They're not branding, like Insanity Max only all day, every day.
Yeah.
That's not what they're doing. And you think about, who knows Brandy Bots, right? Super popular, super successful. Tom's coach, crazy. How many people really want to, like, Brandy Bots, what workout is she doing right now? I can't wait to do it. Looks awesome. No, you want to find out what she's doing. Like, just everything about Brandy Bots. She's branded herself, not the workouts, not even the Shakeology. She's branding her lifestyle. And that's what we need to be able to do, like Tom was saying, just make a success out of branding our healthy living. And
Sarah Silverman's another one. Is that her name? Sarah Silverman? Am I thinking?
Yeah.
Amy Silverman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is very, very unique.
Mm-hmm.
And has branded herself completely different than anybody else.
And everybody's different. So
when Jeff and I went to our men's training, we saw so many different styles. And that's branding. That is who that person is, and building that person, finding your strength and growing it. And there's guys there that are amazing video guys. I mean, so that any video the guy makes you crack up and you'll never forget it. And then there's other guys that get so deep into your why, ex-cops whose lives were on the line and whose families were struggling and who are able to run amazing challenge groups. And then there's another guy that just does a totally different thing. It's amazing to watch how these guys all work. David Ingram is the family guy, and on his website you'll see 1,000 transformations posted on his website. But everybody's different, and so find your strength and grow it. All right, Molly, what do you got? We can help you.
All right, well, I kind of maybe thought of something, but I think I'm a very enthusiastic person, and I have a hard time doing anything less than like at least like 80-90%. Our last call when we talked about the 100%, it's not, I don't do everything 100, but I don't go into things thinking, well, maybe this will work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it if it's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Like if this isn't for me, I wouldn't be here. Like it's going to work. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to do what I want to do. I may have to change some plans along the way, but like I have an enthusiasm for it. And like when I talk to people on the phone or in person or whatever, because I do generally or genuinely love the products, like that enthusiasm comes through. And I think people see that, and that I'm genuine in that also. But I do, it is amazing. It is great. And I'm very enthusiastic about, everything, not only like the business and the products, but just like the lifestyle and what we as coaches have to offer and what I can offer them, because I've seen it working. And I think I'm assuming that even as time goes on and I have more and more experience with coaching, that I'll become even more enthusiastic because I'll see even more changes and more lives changed, and the differences that it has made for so many people because of my, small group of people already, the changes and the differences that like I've been able to just even get them started to make on their own has been so amazing. So I don't know. I think I'm enthusiastic.
I think you're a natural leader too, which means that people around you want to follow you. And I think that's another quality too.
That does work well for coaching,
Yeah.
You have to set a good example.
Mm-hmm.
Molly, are you a rhino?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I like you, Tom.
We're plowing through a bush, just like ripping everything out of the way, just because we're going to get there.
Yeah. Well, that's
going.
the thing,
You want to follow me? Follow me. This is it. This is right. This is the way to do it. Let's go.
It is. And it's funny to watch, people who I invited initially and, said no or not now or whatever. And then, I like Kirsty said when we were talking before, like, I didn't let them go, but I said, that's okay. Like with like Christine and her family and friends who are doing other things, so that's awesome. Like push through that. I know that it's not gonna work. I mean, my mom is like a lifelong member of Weight Watchers or whatever. She did that. Like, and then as soon as she stopped it, she gained all, they're not lifestyles that people can live. And so anyways, so I've seen that. And then I've seen them turn around and come back. And they're like, great. I knew you would. Here's the link.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get you started and let me put you in our group and meet these amazing and wonderful women that you'll be, checking in with and everything. So I don't know, but yeah, no, I'm definitely a rhino. And sometimes I think that can be hard because I have a hard time sometimes when people don't see it my way. I'm like, okay, whatever, you're lost. I don't get why you don't get this, but okay, that's all right.
Me too, Molly.
But
I think I'm a rhino with peacock feathers.
I love it.
I love that.
Muscles. Yeah.
I love that. That's so funny.
Well, I don't know exactly how to conclude because I think we kind of got there. From here on out, it's really a matter of figuring out how to use your thing to connect with people. I've found that when I take the time to make a post and share my story, I get really good traction. And I get good comments and I get conversations from it and I have people interested. But it's sort of because of the passion. And I try and get deep and talk about, stuff that's like gut check and connect with people that way. But that's just me. But you got to find what your thing is. How do you connect? And ultimately, is not connecting with people the number one thing that we do?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's not so much, our business isn't driven by the products as it is by the customers, the people that need help. That's what drives our business. So, connecting with those people, lifting them up.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, everything that someone said tonight is a way to connect with people, whether it's delivering a message or whether it's inspiring, with your own story or by being a motivator or being enthusiastic or being excited or helping people feel special. Like all of those things are ways that we can connect to people. I think that that's the second part of the question. Like, what one thing do you do best to connect to people? Like, I think you could put that ending on there. because that's what it's all about, right?
Right, absolutely. Did anybody else listen to the Success Club leader today?
Not yet. Did you, Molly?
I forgot to write it. I think it was live. I don't think we can listen to it again.
No, you can listen to it.
You probably got an email.
I did, but it said it was a separate one that was an encore one. It didn't say
the encore is the same presentation.
Oh, it is?
Click on that and you get the recording.
Because I got that email today and I was like, oh, no, I earned that.
Mm-hmm. It was a weird time. It wasn't an easy time.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll try and watch. Yeah, I mean, I will watch that for sure.
It's interesting that his topic is exactly what we talked about. I really had a hard time connecting to what he had to say about it. But that said, somebody else might connect. You might get it. And certainly there are some nuggets in there. There are takeaways. Maybe I've just been at it too long today to really get his message. But I understand the topic and I understand the point because that's exactly what we talked about.
Cool.
So I think all of us need to have a little homework assignment and write down those attributes that make us special, that we're good at, right? Mm-hmm. And then how are we going to use that to improve our business this week? Mm-hmm. And then by Tuesday next week, we should have at least what did you do last week to basically use what we learned here from Tom in this topic to better our business and our own lives, I guess. Because it's all about application. So there has to be some accountability to apply what we learned today. And we don't even have to talk about it. Just got to be written, got to be like, yes, I did this. I talked with 10 people instead of one. And that's what I did better. Something super simple like that. But let's all grow from it and have a responsibility to do something about what we learned, because I learned a lot today. So
you figured out your one thing.
Giving homework assignments.
No, actually,
which is hard because I gotta tell Tom what I did this. What?
I did that same homework assignment yesterday for my class. So.
Oh.
There you go.
Interesting.
That's what we're doing. But the practical application part, I can expound on. All right. Well, hey, thanks, everyone. Hopefully, since it's recorded, that our other team members will listen to it, because there's value in this for everybody. And, for those team members that aren't here now, if they get something out of the recording, great. But maybe talk to some of your downline coaches one-on-one and help them to kind of hone in on what their one thing is. Sometimes you got to talk it out, right?
Yeah, we all kind of squirmed a little bit, right? Like before we talked about it. I don't know if that's just because we haven't identified it yet, or if it's just sometimes hard to talk about our strengths. I don't know why, but
I don't know, because sometimes it's like right in front of your face. Yeah. That's what I said after I figured mine out. And it's like, right. It's so obvious. It's right here, but it took forever to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
You're welcome. Well, everybody have a great evening, and go get it done.
Peace out. Awesome. Good night, everybody.
Good.
Right.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.